r/AskWomen. Soxtsk says, what's the worst thing you did when you were drunk? Yakuzuraru says, broke up with a long-term partner who was likely the one and I could envision the rest of my life with. Because a guy had slid into my DMs earlier that day and drunk me had thought he was cute. I regretted it immensely the next morning, but knew she wouldn't take me back. I'm still single years later and regret it every day tbh. In retrospect I was saving her from being with me tbh. Ambulance driver 95 says, this all happened in one night. Flirted with the birthday girl, showed everyone at the party my penis, drunkenly danced with the birthday girl's sister. To let it go, gave another girl my co-worker's number telling her it was mine. I didn't find out until the next day when my co-worker told me some girl texted him thinking it was me and she wanted to link. Threw up in their recycling bin, blacked out, woke up and tried to find the birthday girl's bedroom unsuccessfully, but I did find her parents' bedroom and told them goodnight. Woke up at 5 AM. I passed out at 3, then drove my car down the mountain. Their house was in the mountains nearby to go work as a lifeguard. Celestialism says, threw up on public transit. They had to empty out the whole vehicle on account of it being a biohazard. Tina Tinitink says, got shit drunk and announced my undying love towards my workplace subordinate in front of all the colleagues. When he didn't reply, I cried holding his leg. He was the designated driver that night. I kept touching his hair and face the whole ride. I only gotten drunk a bunch of times and that was the last time. Turbulent Stomach 469 says, peed in 2 different ex-BFS beds. I rarely drink anymore. Steph Robello says, in high school my friend and I secretly did shrooms at a house party during Christmas break. We were also hammered. We ended up going into her parents' room and found all the Christmas presents in the closet. We were tripping on shrooms, so this was a massive delight and we opened them all. Nana2 says, tried to make out with a police officer who was helping me get home. Found out by looking at my Snapchat stories as I didn't recall. C Slugsilly says, I was playing a drinking game with some buddies one time when I unexpectedly started my period. Problem was I didn't notice until I was already borderline blackout drunk. Plus, I was at a bachelor pad, so no tampons or pads in sight. I decided my best option was to use my goddamn winter chook. I woke up locked in my buddy's bathroom with my winter hat stuffed down the front of my pants. It was a rough morning. Childhood Narrow 6449 says, punched myself in my face because I got a wasp up my nose because I decided to tackle a wasp nest like the badass girl I am. Pathological Protest says, none of my best decisions have been made drunk, and though I have had a lot of fun, I no longer drink. Symphony 64 says, puked in a first date's car and cried to him a lot afterwards. I don't remember this, but he messaged me about it. After I woke up in my sister's room, he dropped me off. I wanted to die. Second worst thing is masturbating in front of a pool of people, kink party, and I don't remember that either. Apparently there was a huge crowd and they all enjoyed it. Congratan Cloud says, God, I wish I could forget all of the horrible things I did. I can't even write them here. Honestly, I was mostly a nuisance. I lost all of my friends though, and to this day those people don't want to see me. Almost 7 years of sobriety, thankfully. Accessvest 3440 says, I set my ex's stuff on fire and sent him videos and pictures of me doing it. I even burned his Nintendo, skateboard, and testosterone shots. He got his mom to call the cops for him, and there were 4 cop cars outside my house, but I got away with it. r/AskWomen. Emergency Spent 3926 says, what are your limits for teasing/joking with friends? How can you tell if it's just bullying? Kiorin says. I don't do it anymore. It's just not how I prefer to interact with the people I love. I did in middle and high school a little, but never ever about something they'd previously mentioned was an insecurity. With my best friends, still friends 15 plus years later, I never once teased them about their intelligence, their partners/sexual history, or their family. Especially as I got older and fell into a depression and peers started telling me, before I really knew you, I assumed you were a huge biatch, like multiple people. I became increasingly self-conscious and took to checking in with my friends almost daily. Hey, you know I'm just kidding, right? You know I love you? Am I too mean? A penning sort 4826 says. My love language is mockery. Not mocking others, but being mocked. If someone takes my moods and quirks too seriously, I don't know how to act. My closest friends are those who know how to poke fun at me without emotionally crippling me. It's a fun line to walk. Able Organization 607 says. I wouldn't make a joke on someone if it is whatever that would potentially hurt me if it was said to me. If they've ever mentioned a trait as their insecurity, if they are too conscious about that thing, if their expression changes. Idly Vadaravakaya says. Teasing can be fun, but it's important to know when it's gone too far. Good teasing is playful banter that expresses affection or affiliation, while bad one is hostile or aggressive behavior meant to hurt, humiliate, or harass someone. If I'm unsure whether my teasing is crossing the line into bullying, I would ask the person being teased how they feel about it. Snwgiraffes 4091 says. Teasing is not really my sense of humor. But I read somewhere that, if a person can't fix something about themselves in under 10 minutes, don't make fun of them for it. Mentathiel says. I think it's mostly fine if it doesn't sound judgmental or they otherwise know that it isn't because of my previously expressed understanding, etc. And if it doesn't paint them in a bad light in front of others who aren't in on the joke. But at the end of the day, you judge it by their reaction and stop if they say it's hurtful. The more the topic is an unprocessed emotional issue, the more likely it is to be hurtful, but it can also be a really exhilarating joke if executed well, because it can make them feel seen and understood. I don't joke about stuff I'm really upset about also, because there's inevitably undertones of passive aggression there. So if I joke about something, it's usually something that I don't mind, does not hurt me personally. Impossible Bat 90 says. Closest friends only, those poor bastards, it's all with love, we know each other really well. New friends, it's more mockery of anything but never any personal attacks. That could offend them. If I notice any signs of offense, I apologize for my bad humor. My best friend knows she's my favorite mental patient. I would call her out in public. We would die laughing at people's reactions. Bob Shall Prevail says. It's 100% based on their reaction. My group of coworkers love to frick with each other, and if we are nice to you it means we're unsure if you are okay with the mocking. Once we see the reaction to others getting frick ed with and they laugh, we'll try a small one on them. If they laugh, we'll bring them into the fold. If not, we don't do it again and stay nice to them. Says. As for me, I take offense when the joke is already about my, or others, appearance or body or ability. But in the end, it really depends on the depth of your friendship. Real Basilisk says. If it doesn't hurt, is the way to tell the difference. Scrivener Sarah says. This is hard, because my entire mode with friends and family is razzing the shit out of each other. If I like you, I'm going to take the piss, but also I'm here for anything, and will answer the phone to talk things through if you need help, and also I'll fight anyone who is mean to them. That's what you get. I'll make fun of you forever, but if you tell me to stop, I stop, and otherwise I make you treats, and try to remember things important to you. r/AskWomen. Kitty with lasers says, what is the dating culture like in your country? Is it open? Are there restrictions? Is it taboo? Do you date specifically just for marriage? Russet Trombone says, my country or birth, when I was young has changed a lot since now, but when I was young you barely talked to guys and that's why I'm still quite reserved after being married for so long. In many Eastern cultures dating is quite secretive, and usually if people find out they think you are a thing and going to get married. I think it's changed a bit, but I'm not sure how much. Grew up in Iran. Coffee Walnut 05 says, England, it is open, people generally don't judge who you date, quite an individualist culture, and thus individualist approach to dating. Lots of people date without thinking or worrying about marriage. Hookups, especially drunken ones, is a common way to start a relationship. Dating apps are very popular. Kema7856 says, PPL are never direct here, Canada. Coffee Blossom says, in a word, chaos. Petribxt says, dangerous, user. Wonderful Slide 4229 says, girls here stopped, frick, I'm neighborhood high school boys, so they can still have the chance to get married to one of them in case they don't find a partner. Binkta Yori says, it's an unspoken fact that almost everyone is on Tinder, and when people ask how you met, you tell them you met somewhere else, though everyone knows that dating apps are the only way these days. Profiles are pretty bland and only a handful of people put in any effort to attract people to their profile. And yeah, ghosting, half-assed conversations, situationships. Pretty standard Western experience. Swimming Helicopter 15 says, Romania. Pretty okay overall, there are no restrictions, is open, some do hookups, some look for a relationship. Most of us have our parents who put pressure on us to marry and have children, but they can't obligate us. Karen Loves Jesus says, it's really traditional here, girls are expected to get married to well-to-do guys and look after the house, and sex before marriage used to be illegal, but is still really looked down upon for most of the population, if you exclude influencers. I'm from UAE. Wrestling Woman says, hook up at parties and either leave next morning or agree to see each other again. Greeteschow 111 says, I'm from Singapore. It's open. We used to be a traditional country, but dating apps and the influx of Western expats the past 10-15 years have opened the country to hookup culture pretty rampantly. And in general, women here that are seeking long-term relationships want to date men that earn above average, plus half of those also do quite well themselves, so men have issues finding genuine connections or stable relationships, or feel inferior to higher salary partners that they end up marrying women from surrounding Southeast Asian countries, hence there's a huge pool of single women here. Culturally we have opened up a lot, but the older generation still frown upon the modern dating culture. I dated for fun for a while, but realized I don't fit the hookup culture. I ended up dating seriously and met my current partner off the app. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.